I hope this game has finally made Capcom come to their senses. Yo, what's good? It's Minstora. It's no secret, y'all, that all the Resident Evil remakes have been pretty damn good, right? Like 1 through 4 are all dope. Yes, even Resident Evil 3 Remake I consider good. It's just too short and has too much cut content, but what is there is really enjoyable. But for a while now, Capcom, and more specifically Resident Evil, have been making a common mistake with their past few titles, and I really hope that Resident Evil 4 Remake success has taught them a valuable lesson in that regard. I'm gonna have some gameplay from a professional difficulty run, as well as the recent Mercenaries mode that was just added, going here in the background while we discuss this topic, so let's get it. The mistake is that Capcom has really been chasing that live service money, specifically doing so while trying to utilize the Resident Evil name. Even more specifically, for Resident Evil Village and RE3 Remake, they packaged both of these games with additional online multiplayer titles. For RE3 Remake, it was RE Resistance, and for Village, it was RE Reverse. This one did end up getting delayed a year though, but it was intended to release at the same time as Village, right? Now, the problem with this whole, debacle, right, was that for RE3 Remake, the quality of the actual game ended up suffering as a result. They spent resources developing this side game while the remake itself had entire cut areas that fans loved from the original game, and was just insanely short. Like I said, it is common, for Resident Evil fans to say that they wish Capcom just never released Resistance and instead just focused those efforts and resources into the actual games that fans have been asking for. The remake of a beloved mainline Resident Evil title, not some half-baked asymmetrical multiplayer game. Now, to be fair, Capcom themselves did not develop Resistance, nor did they develop RE-verse. That was Neobard's Entertainment. However, Capcom still had to spend a lot of money publishing the game through that studio, resources that again could have just been spent on the remake proper. And while Village did turn out to be more well received than RE3 Remake, Reverse still wasn't very good. So what does RE4 Remake have to do with all this? Well, RE4 Remake is amazing. Like, in every regard, I'm telling you, it's graphically impressive. Gameplay is dope as hell. It's not a short game by any means, so you're definitely getting your money's worth. It's got tons of replayabilities and unlockables, and I could go on and on, right? But the game is doing well in pretty much like every possible way. Critically, it's getting insanely high scores. Financially, it's selling like crazy. It's literally the fastest selling game in the franchise that we've had for a long time. It beat every recent release financially in that regard, even Resident Evil 7. And guess what? This game didn't have some promise of being packaged with some BS online additional multiplayer mode, Capcom, and look at how well it's done. Who would have guessed that Resident Evil fans want Resident Evil? I mean, like, all right, look, I can't blame Capcom for trying something new, right? You got to innovate when it comes to gaming. You can't just keep making the same thing over and over again, so I understand the attempt. But with Capcom's resources not being infinite, it's clear that at the very least, RE3 Remake suffered because of Resistance, and RE fans are very passionate about this series and have made it very clear that they don't want the same fate for future titles. They've definitely voted with their wallets on this one, for sure. I hope that with RE4 Remake success, that Capcom has learned that Resident Evil fans are not really interested in these kinds of multiplayer games, you know what I mean? And hey, I understand that these kind of games, they pull in crazy recurrent spending, so the attempt is even more understandable. And it's not to say that an enticing RE multiplayer game isn't possible. It's just clear that these shoe-in games that Capcom has been churning out are not pleasing fans. RE-verse could have been a decent game, but it had no support. We got like 4 new characters or more that all looked identical, 1 new map, 1 new bioweapon to play as, and no new modes. Nothing. the game had some decent cosmetics and rewards, so with effort put into its post-launch support, it could have been dope. But it seems like Capcom just didn't care. Like, what was the year-long delay for? You know, there has been large fan outcry to revisit a multiplayer title that already exists in this series. That being Outbreak, a co-op multiplayer game where you and a group of survivors have several objectives and are trying to navigate the zombie-infested Raccoon City, all split across multiple scenarios, with each survivor excelling at something different, meaning the group has to work together to accomplish their goals and make it out alive. Oh, and the best part, it's still a survival horror game at its core, with a story. Now that sounds exciting for a fan of the series. A remake or a new game like this is probably the only way I could see this kind of online multiplayer title within the Resident Evil universe working out. It's a proven concept that's already beloved by fans. It'd allow you to recycle assets from existing games within RE Engine already. You could add tons of cool and meaningful unlockables worth working towards, and it would generate that kind of recurrent spending that Capcom is probably looking for from the fan base. As long as it's made with the same love and care that RE1, 2, and 4 remake received, unlike, you know, the previous attempts such as Reverse and Resistance, then I think this is a clear case where both Capcom and the fans can win and get what they want out of it. Capcom gets the dough, and fans get a heavily replayable yet fun game that actually feels like it fits in with the rest of the series, with continued support and content updates that holds them over in between the release of mainline games and remakes. But unless Capcom is willing to do that or something similar, they really should just stick to making the impactful single player experiences that fans gravitate to the series for. You know what I'm saying? It's clear from its sales and critical reception that fans obviously want a complete game and experience. Like, duh. Did we have to wait a bit for Mercenaries to get here? Yeah, but when it did, it was so much fun and worth the wait. And is there a chance that Separate Ways will be paid DLC, even though the PS2 version and beyond of Resident Evil 4, it just came with the game? Yeah, there's a chance of that. But I think fans are willing to put up with that if the quality and length are there, given just how much we've already been enjoying 4 remakes so far. Again, you see what we're willing to put up with if it's quality single player content with no BS. Yes, Capcom, we are willing to pay a little bit extra if you're willing to do a little bit extra. It requires effort, you know what I'm saying? Not whatever unsupported mess that Resistance and Reverse turned out to be. You can stop chasing after these live service gimmicks, please, Capcom. And man, it's just such a shame that they had to learn this lesson late and at the expense of RE3 Remake, as I love Jill Valentine as a character. She's such a badass and really deserved to have her game be on the same level as 2 Remake. While you know her game was good, right? It was good. It could have and just should have been so much better. And who knows what kind of extra goodies Resident Evil Village could have shipped with had RE-verse just been abandoned from the start. But we'll never know. And anyways, right, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed my mini rant on this subject. Look, I love Resident Evil, okay? I have since I was a kid, watching my older brother play and beat OG Resident Evil 2 because I was too scared to myself. And with the series continuing to shine the way it has in recent years, it does bum me out to see Capcom misstep occasionally by getting greedy and chasing trends. It seems like if they just had open communication with us fans about what we want, Resident Evil could just consistently hit it out of the park, banger after banger, instead of having bumps in the road every now and then like they did with Resident Evil 3 Remake. Here's hoping that 4 Remake was truly eye-opening for them. Anyways, y'all, I'm Mistora. I'm going to catch you on the next one. If you've made it this far, I truly appreciate you watching. Feel free to like the video if you liked it, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and comment below and let me know, do you think that we've seen the end of these kind of soulless you know, multiplayer experiences from Capcom, do you think the next time they try to do something in this vein, will they get it right? Or is history doomed to repeat itself? You know what I'm saying? Comment below, let me know. And as always, y'all be easy. Peace.